I've been paying rent for years, but when my parents move in my golden child brother and his family for free, my mom demands I pay even more, so I secretly move out and tell her I don't live there. Now, enjoy the freeloaders. I had been paying rent to my parents for almost 5 years, not because I couldn't afford my own place. They told me the money helped with the mortgage and property taxes, and they always reminded me that family should help family. It sounded reasonable. I had the finished basement with my own entrance, paid $600 every month, bought my own groceries, and handled most of the yard work because Dad's knees weren't what they used to be. Meanwhile, my younger brother, Jack, somehow managed to avoid responsibility every time life became difficult. He jumped from job to job, quit whenever things got stressful, and somehow every failure became someone else's fault. Mom defended him every single time. He's just going through a rough patch. She'd been saying that for years. When Jack married Rachel and they had 2 kids, I honestly believed becoming a father would change him. Instead, my parents decided to rescue him again. One Sunday after dinner, Mom asked me to stay at the table. "We've made a decision," she said. "Jack and Rachel are moving in with us." Dad quietly stared into his coffee. "For how long?" I asked. "Until they get back on their feet." I nodded. "Are they paying rent?" The room went completely silent. Finally, Mom answered, "They can't afford it right now." I laughed because I honestly thought she was joking. She wasn't. "So they'll live here for free while I keep paying? That's different." "Please. How? You have a stable job." Then she folded her hands together. "With 4 more people living here, the utility bills will go up. Starting next month, we're raising your rent to $800. I looked around the table. "So, Jack's family pays nothing, but I have to pay more to help cover their expenses?" "Don't twist my words. I'm repeating them." Dad stayed quiet. Jack looked down. Rachel kept scrolling through her phone. That silence told me exactly where everyone stood. I paid my usual $600 for one final month without arguing. Mom thought I'd accepted her decision. Instead, I spent every evening searching for an apartment. Within 2 weeks, I signed a lease on a quiet 1-bedroom about 20 minutes away. The rent was higher than what I'd paid my parents, but at least every dollar would finally be paying for my own home. I didn't tell anyone. The basement had its own entrance, so moving was easy. Every night after work, I'd carry a few more boxes to my truck. Nobody noticed. Jack's kids filled the upstairs with noise. Rachel complained about not having enough storage. Mom cooked dinner for everyone. Dad looked more exhausted every week. The day before my next rent payment was due, I moved the last of my furniture while everyone was at one of the kids' soccer games. I vacuumed the basement, patched the nail holes, left my key on the kitchen counter. Then I drove away. The next morning, Mom called. "Where are you?" "At my apartment." "At what apartment?" "The one I moved into yesterday." Silence. "You can't just move out." "I already did." "But your rent is due." "I don't live there." "You should have discussed this with us." "I did." "The conversation ended when you decided I should pay more so Jack could live there for free." She hung up. Over the next few weeks, everyone suddenly remembered my phone number. Dad called and admitted money was getting tight. Jack texted asking if I could at least help with the utility bills until he found another job. Rachel messaged that the kids shouldn't suffer because the adults disagreed. Mom left several long voicemails explaining everything I supposedly owed the family. I answered every one of them the same way. I don't live there. About 6 weeks later, Dad asked me to meet him for lunch. He looked older than I remembered. Jack still wasn't working consistently. Rachel had started using Mom's credit card for groceries and household supplies, promising she'd pay everything back once Jack found work. That never happened. The electric bill had nearly doubled. The grocery bill kept climbing. Dad admitted he'd started using part of his retirement savings just to keep the household running. "Your mother thought they'd only be here for a little while," he said quietly. "And now? Now she doesn't know how to ask them to leave." A few months later, Jack exploded after Mom finally told him it was time to move out. He accused my parents of caring more about money than family. Dad told me that over the phone. Neither of us said much after that. We both remembered who had heard those exact words first. Jack and Rachel eventually packed up and left. They didn't repay a single dollar. They left behind damaged furniture, broken appliances, unpaid credit card balances, and a house that felt completely drained. The following spring, my parents put the house up for sale because they could no longer keep up with the mortgage. A week before closing, Mom called one last time. She asked if I'd consider moving back to help them recover financially. I let the silence hang between us before answering. "I don't live there."